Okay, I'm gonna say this. This Dominican air has got me so relaxed, but we need to take things up a bit.
Oh, this sounds so yummy. No, you want this yummy. Yummy all in your tummy. Level up.
Come on, we gotta level it out, people. Woo! Level up, level up, level up, level up.
Oh, this sounds so yummy. Oh, this sounds so yummy. No, you want this yummy. Yummy all in your tummy.
Woo! All those old mistakes are gone. We are quarter way through the year, people. Welcome to Take Center Stage. As featured in the Own It magazine, today we are in the author's corner. And you know I love my authors. Being a 12-time self-published author myself, why would I not love you guys? Why would I not want to make sure that you have, why would I not want to make sure that you guys have all the access to all the strategies, ideas that I have in my head that have made me as successful as I am today, that have keep me thriving and striving and doing the darn thing, as my girl Chris says. You know, in the author's corner, we really want to focus on helping authors not just write books, but there's something that happens after you write a book, right? You hear folks talk about your book is your business. Well, how do I make that book my business? So today I want to share with you, I am in the process of doing my own anthology. And I don't do anthologies. And I'm telling you, if you're waiting for the next project, I'm not going to do this another anthology again. And not because I have anything against, that's not my area. But what I did, what God really put on my heart, was to work with some authors, giving people opportunities to be a part of an Own It publication that's going to transcend time. So the way that this anthology, the Own It anthology, is set up is so that it transcends through time. It's teachable. People, when they read the book, when they utilize and take advantage of using the journal, that they'll be able to do that transcending time. All the stories are transcending time. But one thing about the Own It platform is we want you to be transformed. We want you to take center stage, like it says in the business. Take center stage and own it. This is your life. Come on. This is your life. The clock is ticking, 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 ticking away. And, you can stay where you are, or you can be audacious enough to say that the things that I've been believing God in secret, the things that I've been dreaming about, the places I want to go, that you have the opportunity, as long as you have breath. Delay is not denial. You have the opportunity to do it. And so the Own It anthology is really designed for the authors to share a bit of their stories. Yes, share a bit of their story, but also show you in that same frame of work and frame of writing, to show you how they overcame, not just to tell you about their story, but how did they overcome? Where did they find the audacity or the confidence to actually write their own book, start their own business, overcome some trauma in life, and go on to be happy, fulfilled, prospering, and successful? How do they do that? And so the Own It anthology is also, it's a double-edged sword, because I believe in building up skill sets, competencies, certifications, qualifications, validations, so that people will want to hire you afterwards. Once they read what you have written, they want to hire you. If you are a career person, if you are doing it, if your goal is to, advance in your career, or your goal is to advance in your business, or just to be an advocate. So we cover 3 domains with Own It and TCS Consultant. It's the first domain is life, you. So it's life, your career. So you're going to have to, make a living, right? So you're either going to make that living through a career, or you're going to make that living through your business. And so what this anthology does is it captures all of that. If you're going to want to live a life and be aligned with your purpose and your design, then a lot of times you're going to be an advocate. You're going to go out and speak about a cause. Whatever that cause is, you want to go out and speak about a cause. Well, this anthology is designed to help you to build up that platform. A part of also this journey, because it's a year journey, also a part of this journey you'll be able to have access to training and development in the area of public speaking. So it's not just because so the anthology starts off right now. We're in the phase of writing the anthology, the paperback book. And then right after that, we go right into creating and designing and publishing the 365-day journal. And then from that, which will be available, so the paperback will be available in October. The journal itself will be available right in time for Christmas to be able to give out as Christmas gifts. And then we go right into the destination retreat and conference in the Dominican Republic right here with me. And so it's a journey. So in that process of that journey, when we end up in the Dominican Republic to do the retreat and the conference, the authors are going to be the presenters, the facilitators, the speakers, the panel subject matter experts. So in the process, you get prepared. One thing about working with me is I like to make sure that you're prepared. And so we have an eight-week speaking program that's designed for the authors for you to participate in that. And it's of no extra charge. You get access to the training. Then you'll prepare for your speech. You prepare so that by the time you take center stage and own it in March of 2023, you will be owning it because you will have had enough support in this community. It's 57 authors. You'll have enough support in the community to really let your hair down and take it up another level. What's beautiful about this is based on this journey that you take with the Own It anthology, you can take this this approach and you could do it with books that you've already written. If you're already a writer and you've already written books, by the time you do this process, you'll be able to do this process with all your other work. You'll be able to do workshops, facilitate, go to conferences, have your own conference. If you felt like doing that, you'll be able to do that after this experience. You'll have a season of time with the Own It family to really get into the strategies, open up your mind for different ways that you can create income from what you've written. And then create different ways that you can be a blessing to others. And so what I want to share with you today, because I always like my resources. So if you're interested in the Own It anthology, by all means, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on, you can go to tcsconsultingllc.com and you can message me there, or you can you can email ownit anthology@gmail.com and say I'm in. Send me all the information, or you can message me on Messenger here, and so we could get you started, because there's a whole PowerPoint that I go over exactly what's going to take place. There are resources for you to, if you don't know, like, oh, I don't know how to write, or where am I going to begin. So I give you a handout resource for you to structure your writing. So everything that you need, everything that you're going to need to make this one simple for you, so you're not overwhelmed, because I don't believe in getting overwhelmed. I do everything from a relaxed state. That's why it's really bad being here, because I'm already relaxed. I have a high energy, but I'm already relaxed in what I do. But this air really, oh my God, it feels so good. But I want you to be able to enjoy the process. I don't want you to get caught up in the requirements and the criteria. I want you to be able to enjoy the journey, and for it to be life-changing for you, and for you to see opportunities for you to level up. And so I want to share with you, I did a little research in regards to some tips that I want to share with you today. I always like giving you tips, and in fact, let me just give you the link so that you have it. Resource. All right, so I am reading from this. It's writing cooperative, and it's 5 writing tips that may help you make more money. And it's not all about money for me, in the sense of my work really speaks to the heart. It really, really speaks to the heart. And And so it's not always about making money. What it is about, you have to earn. Like, so you want to change people's lives, but you also have to take care of your own life. So if you're doing this kind of work, you want to make sure that you are making money yourself. And so as a business coach, I'm looking at making sure that you tap into your heart's passion, so your work is authentic, but also that you also know how to make money, so that you can really show up for your gift and talent, so that that's not a concern for you, that you're able to provide for yourself, provide for your family, as well as live in your gifting. And so I got some folks back here that I want to bring to the stage with me. And because they are, oh my God, they got this phenomenal, they're just coming in. They have this phenomenal conference coming up. Collaborative Women's International Conference is this week, and they are backstage, and I want to bring them in. I'm going to say these 5 tips really quick, and then we'll go in deeper next week about the 5 tips, because these guests are super special, and I'm so glad that they came into Take Center Stage and Own It with me. So the first tip is, good writing is important, but it's not everything, okay? So we'll go into these next week, so stay tuned for that. You won't necessarily have more success with bigger publications. I want to talk to you about self-publishing and why that's on the rise now. But you can't just self-publish. You got to have a strategy and a plan, and you got to exercise that plan. So you got to implement it. You don't have to write every day or stress yourself out. Your writing should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful, because you want to make impact someone else's life with what you're writing about. And then 4, ideas don't have to be monumental, just accessible information concerning what readers want to hear. So you want to make sure that you're writing to what people need and want in their lives. And then you have to decide, what audience are you going after? So the 5th one is diversify your income, but don't spread yourself too thin. So this diversify your income, don't spread yourself too thin, is about different money making methods. How many different products, services can you offer? And so I want to go deeper into that. So stay tuned for next Tuesday. We're always in the Author's Corner at Tuesday at 10 a.m. So you want to stay tuned, because I'm going to go in deep on these 5 areas where you can make money. Because as authors, you want to make money. You want to make money. You didn't write the book just to share your story, but also that it's an opportunity for you to bring out your gifting. So, taking center stage and owning with me is Dr. Gloria Walton. She is in the house. How are you? How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Then
How
we
are
have,
you?
awesome. Then we have Cherie, Alice, and Casey. Good morning. Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. Peltzer, this is our intercessor. Man, my God, we had such a good time last night. After we are always having an after party. And that after party last night, I'm still soaking in it. My God, I am still soaking in it. Oh, it was so amazing. And thank you so much for your powerful, impactful prayer. It's just beautiful. I'm looking to get your banner up, because I want your ticker to be up while we're talking. So this is the Collaborative Women's International Conference. Women in between. There's a lot going on in between, man. I mean, a lot going on. And I love it. I love it. I love it, because it means that movement is taking place. Movement is taking place. Things are happening. So, Gloria, share with us, Dr. Walton, share with us. This is a different audience. This is the work day. We're at the top of the morning. Share with the audience, why are you here? Why are you taking center stage with me and owning it today? You gotta take yourself off mute. I know, because we excited.
Just mute. Yeah, we are definitely taking center stage, because now is the time. It's time to shift. It's time to move. It's time to get clarity. And Women in Between, this conference, kickoff April 29th, is where you can begin to pen and hear stories of what it took for women to take that, to move from that in-between state, to get clarity, to have that mindset shift, to rewrite their narrative. This is definitely the conference that you want to attend. It's virtual, it's free. Oh my God, a roster of just dynamic women from all professions of life. You know, we've all experienced something, and we've come to know that the journey is not for us. The adversities has not been for us. We've experienced them. Okay, we've had to wear the marks, but it's for someone else. It's for another sister. And so join us right from you can be in your living room, in your wherever, in your car. It's a virtual conference, and you will definitely walk away with some tangible, applicable lessons.
Mm, mm, mm. I'm telling you, if it's anything like we experienced, one in the interview last night, because we listen, we this marathon, we going strong. We're going strong because we really there's an urgency. There's an urgency for you to shift and align with your design, because when you're outside of operating in your purpose, right? Because this conference is not only women in between, but from purpose to prosper. You will prosper when you align. And so the key here is to get in the environment, and the environment extends beyond the screen. So it's transferable beyond the screen. So you're wherever you are. And what's beautiful about that transfer, right, is because you and your environment are in control of your environment. So when you're open to what's being offered to you off the screen, right, it'll permeate, and it'll just take you to the whole. It's just as if you were right there with them. As much as you're open to receive, you will be right there with them, because I'm telling you, I can still feel last night's energy. I can still feel last night's presence. And God was really moving, and he's continuing to move. And he's saying, for such a time as this, rise up, Esther's, and show up for what God has purpose for you. And so, Cherie, we're going to give you an opportunity to speak, because you're coming in, and we've been on a couple of times, and so we want to hear from you. What can folks first share with us what made you decide to do this? Because some people they need to know that. What was the compelling moment that you had with yourself in regards to saying, listen, I got to show up and speak at this event?
Well, I was voluntold.
I know that's the truth.
I was I've been with her from her mindset conception. When she threw it out there, I want a conference. I just see this conference, and I said, okay, go ahead, do it. Do the conference. Let's go. And as I said in the previous show, we were. She got things together, and we had a group of very supportive women in the beginning. Everybody's on your team in the beginning, and then when the work starts to come in, people kind of like fizzle off, but that's okay. Because I'm going, like she said earlier, I'm till the wheels fall off,
Right.
till the wheels fall off. And and I just want to give props to my girl over here, Alta V's, because there's a story behind, my internet influence. I heard this young woman speak one day while I was in the shower, and it was a really low point in my life. And she was speaking to me because she said, you can't take nothing to the grave with you. You can't take your gifts and your talents to the grave with you. And when I heard it, I just fell on my face and wept and said, Cherie, you got to do this. You got to do this. So, so this is fun. This is something how this is like this little square here is full circle for me. So that's the starting point. That was the starting point for me like 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago? Altavis 3 years ago. So, it's full circle. So when Dr. Walton says, let's do something, it's like, okay, let's do it, no matter what anybody says. So and so I'm vested, I'm in it, I see the vision, I support the vision.
And it's a vision to support because it's authentic, and it comes from the heart. Just with us, I kid you not, last night was incredible. Cherie, we were backstage. And when we went backstage, it just was, on like Donkey Kong. We just really, and if it's any indication of what the people are to expect, it's breakthrough. And we had the birthing coach on last night, and you're in a season of birthing. And when you're giving birth, okay, there's a process. And what's beautiful about the process of having a child is you don't have no choice. You got to go through the whole process, right? You gotta go, and there's moments where you look pretty and you look pretty a mess, right? And there's moments when you want to push, and you better not push because it's too early and it's not up to you. And so you said something, Cherie, that was very critical, and you said it the other day. And forgive me because you look different. You got a different. so, and it was a bunch of. We've been doing so many interviews, but the moment you opened your mouth, I remembered the voice. And so this is the deal. You said, people come, but not everybody wants to do the work. They want the glory. They want the story, but not all of the story. They want the glory side of the story. And so when you think about that, you have to, folks, you got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired, because that's your breaking point. Your breaking point of being in between is when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Let's not keep repeating the same thing. What do they say? It's insanity when you're doing the same thing and then you're expecting different results. On the Own It platform, we focus on self-awareness. You got to own this thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, and indifferent. Not only do you have to own it, you have to fall in love with you. You have to fall in love with the good, the bad, the ugly, and indifferent, and accept it. But then there's another thing that happens is once you do that accepting, now it's time to do the work. So it's self-awareness should, if you really want to do something, lead you to self-development. And that's the in-between. The self-development part is what you take and you're going to learn and grow, but you got to do the work. You got to do the work. So you're coming to this platform. You got to be ready. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired of being in the same place and getting stuck. And these women want to unstuck you. They want to unstick you to what you've been doing. And they want you to, and you got to find a community. And that's why you see Cherie say, and you see the others say, the other speakers say, we see you, Dr. Walton. We recognize you, Dr. Walton. And guess what? We believe, because it's about transformation is about building relationships. If you're going to get to the completed side, if you're going to get to the complete transformation side, it's about relationships, because it's those relationships that are going to keep you moving in the right direction. And that's what this is, because, when we were backstage, and just let our hair down and kept it real, and actually had like one of the sessions that you guys are going to experience by registering. And just an FYI, the registration link is right there in the comments. Click on the link, register now, clear your agenda for next week. Be prepared to glean, to sit, to eat, to sup. You got to be ready for this, because I'm sensing it. It is a powerful moment, and powerful moments don't have to be like boom, 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 boom. Like it's a suddenly. It's an aha experience. And so that's what you're getting ready to get here. It's not going to be that, wow, remember when Christ came, they were like, yeah, he's going to, because, the scripture says he's going to tear down, governments. He's going to do all this. But you're looking for all of the pow, pow, wow, wow, when it's not in that. It's not going to be in that. It's going to be God saying to you, are you serious now? Are you serious about what it is that you want to do? And are you willing to go with me to unknown territories and trust the people I put in front of you that will lead you there? And that's the Collaborative Women's International Conference. And you don't want a big, huge stage where you can't reach the people. If you can't reach the source of the information and transformational coaches, how you going to get transformed if you got to go through so-and-so in an email? You want to be able to work with people that you can actually get to, that you can actually touch, you can actually feel, that will actually tell you, and that's this. And so I say all of that, to say, Altavi, could you share what you gonna share? Because I can feel the heaviness of God's presence already. So I really, really can. So share.
Listen, I'm sitting here and I'm going, we're going to talk about, for me, the bars that are kind of holding us back as women, as individuals, as mothers, as sisters, as daughters, and the 3 bars and how we are to maneuver through those bars. But the thing that kept dropping this morning as I was listening to you guys it was positioned. And there's a certain positioning that you take when you're about to go into battle. There's a certain position that you take when you're about to fight. Because if your feet are not planted properly, then you are at a disadvantage. And the information that you're going to get is going to be information that allows you to plant your feet properly for the war that is coming. It will allow you to plant your feet properly for the fight that's coming your way. Here's the thing. Most of us, they said a good percentage, I want to say it's like 70-something percent, 80-something percent are of the world are non-confrontational. And so when we think about what it means to train for a battle, we don't want to go through the training because we don't really want to go into the battle. But in all actuality, the battle's coming. Can we talk about it a second?
Because it's here. Listen, it's here.
Whether you called for it or not, it's here. Whether
Wait a minute. What did Mordecai say to Esther? He said, "You're in the palace, but don't forget it's coming to you. Don't think that you will escape this." Because she didn't want to go. She was in her nice frankincense and myrrhs, and she taking a beautiful, floral aromatherapy baths, and she done left with them, and now she's living in the palace. And he said, "Don't think for such a time as this." Sorry,
that's one of my favorite things.
I'm back up. Yes.
That's one of my favorite messages in the Bible. And it's just so interesting because I have Roku, and I just recently found that I can watch Sight and Sound through there. They have a channel. And so I can watch some of the shows. It's like you can rent it for like $10, or you can buy like a year subscription for like $100 or something like that. And so Esther is one of the ones that when the pandemic hit, I was supposed to go see it and I couldn't. And so I got to watch it. And it's just that when you think about being in position, the position you're in is not always going to be just for you. The position you're in could be for your children. The position you're in could be for your other family members. It could be for your spouse. Even when we think about the Proverbs 31 woman, the things that she did, they called her spouse what? Okay. He was
Yeah.
blessed because
Right.
of the positioning she
He
had.
was known because of what
Come
she
on.
did. That's what the
Her
scriptures
children were
say.
blessed because
Mm-hmm.
of what she did. And so it's so interesting because going into battle, again, it doesn't look pretty. It's not the thing that we all strive to want to do. We don't say, hey, give me the armor. Hey, let me go. Hey, let me learn how to uh when I think about what they do when they're fencing, and or even when you think about capoeira, which is the dance, the fighting dance style, it takes practice. A wrong move can cause damage to you,
Yeah.
but the right move causes damage to the other person.
Right. Right. Right.
God has given us what we need to cause damage to the enemy,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to prepare for battle, and that is why this is such a powerful conference, is because we're being positioned.
Be in position. And God is calling us to say what's in your heart. Because Esther knew when she was walking up that that processional, she knew that once she got up there, she didn't know what he was going to do, because he by all right could chop her head off. And that's real. That's real. And so what God is saying, hot or cold, lukewarm, I spit out. It's a season for you to be hot for God, or you're going to be cold. So it's either one. You have got to make your decision. You got to make your decision. And like Mordecai said, you will not be spared. So which side are you choosing? Choose this day. What side are you gonna align with your purpose and your design, or are you going to sit here and never know? And ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. And so it's, you got to want to know what your purpose to live. And then that's where your fulfillment lies. Your fulfillment lies in knowing who you are and what you're made of, what makes you tick, what ticks you off, and how to navigate through all of this thing called life. And so my radical and revolutionary sister, Jacqueline Lulu Brown, come on, girl, we got to hear your voice. We got to hear from you. Take yourself off mute. We get so excited.
Listen, great day, ladies. Oh my goodness. I honor each and every one of you this morning, and it is great to be here with you again. And I just have to tell you, I'm like feeling as if we're gearing up for the revival of all revivals. Yes, Alton. Oh, now I see you laughing, honey. Yes. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, whoa, we are getting ready to go into the deep end.
Yes.
Oh my God. So let me give a point, because I was getting ready to go off on another story. So
it's the excitement.
yes, it is. It really is. So what women can expect is just this complete transformation. But as I'm thinking about in between, and a lot of times that in between is where you go from good to great, from great to excellent, and from excellent to phenomenal. And see, we just say excellence, and we just stay right there. But there's more from that. So I like to provoke thought with some real crazy kind of radical things. And so as an expert thought leader, I want to provoke thought. And I really want the women to start to think about, while you're in that between, maybe it's that in between is your time for coming out of that matrix mindset. Maybe that in between is time for you to start coloring outside the lines. Maybe it's time for you to really go from that great to excellence to phenomenal. Remember, Maya Angelou said phenomenal, but do we really embrace it? Are we really, really doing it? And maybe the in between is to delve into the heart of the matter. Talk about the stuff that we need to talk about, but never do. You know, there's this unsaid that we just sort of keep hidden from the life of day. But hey, there comes a point in time where in between, it's time to go to that place where now you are unlocking your divine superpowers. People talk about, well, what's your superpower? Your superpower is real simple. This is not rocket science. Your superpower is being totally aligned with who God, the divine, Allah, Adonai, whatever you call your higher source. I don't care what, you know, hey, now I do have a line. As long as this ain't going anywhere over to, you know, the other side. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But as long as we are operating in the divine superpowers that, guess what? God gave us when we were in our mother's wombs. Gifts come without repentance. And when we were formed in our mother's womb, we had all of this great brilliance. All this stuff was put in us. Now it's time for us. We've been taking the baths and we've been doing all the like what Esther's doing, but we done got a little comfortable. So now this in between is time to shake it up. It is time to start rejecting the ideology that has been forced upon us, mainly as Black women, that wasn't for us to begin with. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Maybe it's time for us to experience progress, power, and success without limitations. Maybe it's time for us to stop being trained to be excellent, but not outstanding and phenomenal. Or just really out there. And, it's time to really not have anything that holds us back. And the way to do that is to be a crazy one. So you can expect I'm a crazy one.
I love it.
Crazy is my genius. It really is. Now I can't speak for somebody else. There is the excellence zone. And that's, sometimes we just show up and we just do it and we just knock it out the park. But what's your genius zone? Because the genius zone comes from the divine place of who you were created to be. And sometimes you got to step into a crazy place. There are a lot of successful people in this world, even in the natural, in the secular, the business, whatever you want to call it. But guess what? They were crazy. So I'm going to share, I'm not going to give it all away, but I'm going to share a story of a man that was totally crazy. I'm not going to say he was insane, because the one thing that he didn't do different things. I mean, the same thing over and over, thinking he was going to get a different result. He changed and did things that seemed crazy, but he changed the world for us. And I'm not going to share you who that person is, but he's a very famous person that much of what we do today and utilize today is because of him. So sis, my sisters, my queens, I'm just ready to receive from you ladies, because as I receive from you, it's like, it's like I'm in the ring, Ali, Muhammad Ali. I love that man. I love his daughter, Layla, had the opportunity to meet her in person one time. And so it's just kind of like when you back there in the room and then you start, they tape up your hands. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting our mind and all that intellect ready for the ladies. But then while I'm waiting in the wings, I'm going to be getting geared up, because you ladies and all the other ladies are going to be pouring into me. So I'm be quiet because I am hyped beyond. And Marissa, I'm going to tell you, oh my God, you just let the crazy come out. So I thank you for that. I thank you, Dr. Gloria. I thank you. It's something when we can get on here at 10 o'clock in the morning and be this crazy.
That's a whole level of freedom. That's freedom. And that's what we want to make sure that the people get is to be freed from their shackles, right?
Ooh,
To be
come
free
on.
from the shackles, the bondage of their mind, their
Yeah.
body, and their spirit. We want them to tap into and unleash once and for all their unlimited potential. We want them to be unlimited because they can do great things. And the thing that happens after we leave our mama's womb is the world comes in and starts putting all these requirements and thoughts into our heads, and then kills the very thing which God put into us before we were born. He says, I knew you before you were in your mama's womb. So I had plans for you. I wired you. I purposed you. I put every bit of DNA in the right places and in the right ways because I wanted you to do this very thing. And then you got out here, and then the whole world came and bombarded you with their toxins. And so now the fight is, I got to show you how to fight back and come up like this. Woo! Get up off me so that you can be all you were meant to be. And it is iron that sharpens iron. It is iron that sharpens iron. So each anointing, each calling, each gifting is feeding off the other when everyone is in proper alignment. That's why it's important for us to understand that you are your brother or your sister's keeper. It is your responsibility to lift someone else up. When we come to a high place, it's not for us. It's now for us to look back, gain our security and our grounding and our footing to make sure that we've got a nice stance that's strong enough to reach back and say, come on, let's go. Woo! Come on, let's go. Next, come on, let's go. Because that's how we should be moving. And we've gotten this single-mindedness, which was never of God, this single-mindedness, like me and my house. And so the reason why is when we come into alignment in circles like this, all hell is going to break loose. Why? Because the enemy don't want us coming to alignment like this. He wants to make sure, because he says, the scripture says, woe to him who is alone, for when he falls, there's no one there to pick him up, right? And so the enemy comes in and just can bombard. That's why it's critical, ladies, that you're watching, to register and get in alignment with your tribe, with your people who think like you, feel like you, move like you, because they're the ones who are going to sustain you. When you go back home, it's okay, because we got to go back. We got to go back to the ones who don't know, because we got to be implanted so that we can bring light. You can't be the light if you're in a room filled with light all the time. There is no darkness to dispel. So eventually you got to take your lamp and you got to go back to the people, but you got to be built up. And that's how we all piggyback on one another. We piggyback because I need you. I need what you have, Lulu. I need it. I need it because you speak to a part of my spirit that needs to be uplifted. You remind me. You remind me. Then I need you, Alcibiade, to know the gentleness. We got to appreciate and respect. When I see your gifting, it's not for me. It's for me to glean from. It's for me to appreciate. Sometimes for me to just sit back and enjoy. Oh, that is my sister. Look at her. Oh my God. Da, 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 da. It's not. Everyone has their own thing that they bring to the table, and we should cherish it. We should cherish it. And when we show up, we should show up to support it. And if it means cleaning the damn bathrooms, go in there and clean the bathrooms. It does not mean that you're always on the stage up front. If I ever show up and you need me to cook in the greasy kitchen, you need me to clean the bathroom, you need me to change somebody's pamper, I don't give a darn what it is you need me to do. This is a sister that shows up to say, here I am. What do you need? That's how we need to be instead of stressing each other out. So that's when you come to something like this. This is the relief of the stress that you've been under. This is the breaking of that. True authenticity, humbleness in spirit, mind, body, and soul that says, here I am, Lord. What would you have me to do? And that's what this is all about. It's about bringing you to a place. So make sure you're registering. I'm not saying this because I'm not even led. I'm just meeting you guys. And we have gone in so deep. Why? Because we are like spirited. We are being led by the Holy Spirit. And that's why there's so much connectivity for such a time as this. For such a time as this, God is calling us, and He's saying to us, we don't even have to be in the same location. We don't have to be at church together or in a room together. There's no limitations. Remember, He said, the works that I do, you will do, and even greater works. Why? Because we can reach a multitude a whole lot faster than He could in that one spot. They all had to gather, and people don't talk about this was a gathering of tens of thousands of people when Jesus spoke. It wasn't little crowds. These were multitudes. When Moses came out of Egypt, he brought millions. But people don't know that. People don't, because they don't really study, they don't go in deep. We are called to the masses across the entire world. And it is through the internet, it is through technology that we're able to do that. And it does not limit us to those people in our circle who don't believe or see the vision. Because now He's opened it so that you can get there. You can get there. You just got to show up. You just got to show up. And one of the ways that you show up is by registering. Register, get involved, show up. Look for the simplicity, for God to show up in the simplicity of things. Doesn't have to be grandeur. And stop looking for that, because that's not how He's going to come. You're going to miss Him. 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 So, Cherie, I know you've been
because I'm glad that you said that, though, because the words that keep coming up is show up. And can we just have an honesty moment?
I like those.
What was that moment that made you show up? That when you showed up, God said, this is what I can do. And I'll give an example. For me, it was 2015, December 31st, 2015, I was evicted from my home. January 1st of 2016, I had a flight that I had already planned. At this point, I'm homeless. I've moved all my stuff into storage. My children and I are, moved into the second bedroom and the living room of a good girlfriend's 2-bedroom apartment. And it was the first time that I said, I'm not going to go by my sight. I'm going to go by vision. I'm not going to go by what I see. I'm going to go and step outside of what I see. And I took the flight. First flight, no problem. Second flight, there's no group number on my ticket. I'm a creative. So in my mind, I'm going to jail because it's a fake ticket. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. But I go to the booth. I let them know there's no group number on my ticket. They said, no problem. Go in with group 2. Group 2 gets called. I get up. I get in line. And then I hear my name over the loudspeaker. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking for TSA to see if they coming down from a helicopter. They coming with a little cart or what. But when I get to the booth, I get a brand new ticket and it says first class.
Wow.
That was my moment of showing up in a way that I had never shown up before. And God said, I told you I would keep you.
Yeah.
But you have to show up.
You got to show up. Faith without works is dead. You got to really trust. And in this season, you have to really trust. See, because I think it was you, Dr. Walton, that said it. Or it was Lulu who said it. We've all been talking. But we're coming back to a place of revival because we have gone through a place where our faith has been tried and we have been battered, beaten, and worn out. And God is saying, I need to restore your faith. And so for you to level up in this season, it's going to require you to return to your faith. And someone said it too. Who bewitched you? Someone said that last night. Who bewitched you that caused you to forget your faith? When we left you, you was intact. What happened? What came along? And what happens is hope deferred makes the heart sick. right? You get to lose where you're supposed to be. You get to lose your footing. And this is a season where God is ramping everything back up. It's saying, "Uh-oh, wait a minute. We got to go back to the beginning where you first believed, right? Where you first believed, you fell in love with me, you were willing to do anything, you trusted me blindly, because now we're at a different level. We're in a different in-between space. And so now he's returning us to that. That was one thing. And I want to say to the Author's Corner, because that's where we are today. We're in our Facebook group live, Author's Corner. And so what I want to say to you is, you're probably saying, well, what are they doing in the Author's Corner? This is a conference. The aha moment. Authors, you are speakers. If you are a writer, you are a speaker. That's why your crazy EIC from Own It Magazine and Publishing Company was cuckoo enough to say, we need to be in the Author's Corner because we need you to say, take your book and go out and speak about it. That's what you need to do with all the things that you've been writing, all the blogs, everything that you've been doing. Stop sitting here behind a writing, like your computer. Stop sitting behind your pen. Get out here and now be the advocate, be the spokesperson for your story, and let God get glory for your victory, and then show other people how to do it too. And that's how, if you are a writer, you are definitely a speaker. And if you realize that, then you got to get on teams like this, and you got to go out and you got to start freeing other people with what your message is. Your message, the reason why you're compelled to write is because you're compelled to share your story so that other people can be set free. And so that's why, people, if you're wondering why we're in the Author's Corner, that's exactly why we are here. And so, Cherie, I want to hear from you, because I'm looking at you, sis, and I'm like, I know she's got something to say. So please come on in and share.
I am in full agreement, collaboration. See, it's time out for people telling the lie that women cannot get together and support one another. That's a lie from the pit of hell. And for so long, we bought into it. I mean, this click over here, that click over here. But the thing of it is, nobody's getting anywhere with that attitude. We're like the crabs in a barrel, trying to, I'm trying to outdo her. It's time out for that. Mm-hmm. We all want to win. We all need to support each other. We all, you having a conference, we need to be there. Alta Vista's having a conference in October. We definitely need to be there. Lulu has her retreats and stuff. We need to be there. We need to support, decide, that we're going to support one another, because love covers a multitude. We're not getting blasted by hating on each other. That's just ridiculous. That vibe and that energy is just a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I facilitate groups, and I was telling the group yesterday, I said, what have you profited off of from hating, from holding on to things? You're not productive. You cannot move on with your life. As a resilience coach, that's what I teach my clients. You got to let that go. You can't move to the next level of your life holding on to mess, holding on to resentments, hatred, and all of those type of things. It has to go, and you have to be focused, because this next generation here is no joke. We have to be able to pour in and leave a legacy for them. If not, it's all in vain. It's all in vain. We have to be examples to these young ladies. All of this stuff that's going on right now, it's just a mess. So, but in order to clean it up, God has put us all together in a collaboration. All right, in a collaboration. He's brought us together for such a time
The
as
time as this. For such a time as this. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, because of what you're saying, that's all toxic. That's all toxic. That's why you're sick. That's why you're losing your hair. Your blood pressure's up. You're stuffing your face. That's what that's all. That's toxic and it's stress. And so Dr. Walton, an hour has gone by already, right? So, and last
No.
night we stayed on for another 20 minutes. So we're not going to keep the people today, but we just want to encourage them. So I want you to have the closing thoughts for the people. But this is amazing. And this is telling you, we didn't have to work through this. We just talk. This is just us talking. This is not facilitating. This is not anything. This is us having a conversation, but it's a needed conversation. And it's a needed conference for you to build on, not just having a conversation, but for you to transform your life. So,
Right.
Dr. Walton.
This is just absolutely amazing how God works and orchestrates. Well, there's certain human words that I don't like to put in the same sentence when I talk about God or Jesus, because we try to kind of bring him down to where we're at. And so things like orchestrate and strategize, and I don't, because he's eternal, he's all knowing, and because I believe in predestination, it didn't. This wasn't a strategy. This was just a manifestation of what was in the mind of God long before we ever knew each other. But I'm grateful that today, one day down from the last day of registering for this awesome conference, in my morning devotion, Paul said in Philippians, he says, "I'm in between." He says, "I'm in between." I want to go because he suffered so much. He says, I want to go. He says, but it's best for me, best for you that I stay so that I can continue the work that God has called me to do. And sometimes the work is the, as I said last night, is doing the work without the blueprint. Is being able to have an ear and a spirit and have that relationship that you can know that no matter whether there is one person or 10 people that will support the vision that God has given you, it's better that you stay in your lane and that you continue on the assignment, because at the end of your time, when it's time to give an account for what God has entrusted you with, I want to hear well done. And that takes me to Maya. Maya Angelou says, my life's mission is not just to survive, but to thrive. To thrive with compassion. With compassion, and she also says with humor and in style. And so in between, sometimes when you're in between, all you can manage to do is survive. But come April 29th through May 1st, and hear how this panel, how this group of women overcame their times, their moments, because they're only incidents in our life, and those incidental things that God knew about and allowed us to get through. Come here, how and what do we do? How do we do it? How do we couple our faith with the works so that we can accomplish that in which God has? I know they're saying now, oh, I know the assignment. Yeah, I know my assignment. And I know that without him, I can't do it. And so for those that's listening to say, oh, that sounds like some more, spiritual stuff. Well, I do not make apology because God is the head of my life. I make no apology because he gave me the vision and I am being obedient to it. I just merely invite you to join us to find out what else. How do you make the move for such a time as this? How do you go beyond surviving to thriving with compassion and empathy and remembering that there's a sister that is waiting for you. In fact, because he gave 1 talent, some he gave up to 10, and many more. Whatever the gifting is, it is time that you put it to the exchange.
Mhm.
Don't allow him to call you a slothful servant. Put it to the exchange. I want to thank Cherie and Altavis and Mimi
Yes.
and Marissa. Thank you. Thank you so much, for allowing women in between to grace your platform again. And
Yeah.
yeah, you spoke to the fact that this is the author's corner. Well, today, everyone on here is an author, actually bestseller authors that you have today. Yeah. So again, thank you. I give all praise
Yes.
to God, yes, for this. And Dr. Sherwood is our keynote speaker, and I heard her say something that I think is worth repeating because fear is that false evidence, right, that appears to be real. But she
Right.
said, "Do it scared." And
Yep.
don't think that I have not had those moments where I was like, oh God, how is it so? Because there was a moment where things seemed as if it was like stagnant. But the moment I said, okay, God, your will. And that's when the bubble burst. That's
Mhm.
when the connections. This is an international conference because he has pushed me beyond the borders of the US of A, and you will be able to hear from international women because of the time zone. I was trying to get my speaker from the Philippines on today, but it's like the time zone. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at least I go beyond as we did last night for the last 2 days. I just want to once again say thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what? I want to make mention of this. She has not asked me this, but Kevin Brown. Now I'm about to bring this. I better not talk about this part because it's going to make me cry. Um,
Oh.
the first conference, if you will allow me to share this, how you
Yeah.
have to be obedient to God. There are great conferences that happen all over this world, but God said, I want you to do it different. And He didn't, of course, give me a blueprint. And so, in doing, I'm going to fast forward. In doing it, of course, you have this budget, and you also have some incidentals, some unexpected incidentals that will cost you.
Yep.
And my videographer mm, drove, you hear me, drove to Virginia from Atlanta.
Wow.
Just, I want you to hear the dollar signs, okay? When it was time, he wouldn't even take payments up front because he wanted to deliver something of excellence. And so, after you've paid out everyone and you're just waiting for that bill, you're waiting for that bill, right? Like, okay, I got this last bill that has to be taken care of. Woo! Thank you, Jesus. Well, when I received the invoice, mm, he said, Grace,
Mm.
Grace, paid in full.
Wow.
Grace, paid in full.
Oh.
So
Oh.
I will never do another conference without making mention of Mr. Kevin Brown and his business. And
Mm.
so come to the conference. You will
Yes.
learn more about his business.
Yes.
And I'm a witness of the excellence
Awesome.
of
Awesome.
the order that you will get. You will learn more about it, but you have to show up. There's so many more that I can make mention of, but you have to show up to get that information. And in closing, just remember this: grace paid in full. Thank you, Marissa.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, best-selling authors, novice, those who are sitting on the bench trying to figure out how to get off, Have an amazing, incredible week. And
Thank
I
you.
look forward to being here next week. As I mentioned earlier, I will go back over the 5 tips for how you can make money as an author. We'll go dive in next Tuesday, deep, and just have an amazing week. I'm still in like, woo. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week. Make sure you register. The registration link is in the comments. It's right at the top of the comments. So just click on that jot form. Fill it out. It's simple. Just fill it out. Get registered. Show up for you. Show up for you. Don't do it for anybody else, but saying, it is time for me to show up for me, to show up, show out, and live my fulfilling life. Listen, collaboration, Women's International Conference, Women in Between, from Purpose to Prosper, 29th, April 29th through the 1st. And you want to register by tomorrow, the 20th. We're out.